Hello and welcome back to Finland for our TPS Build a Nation save. This is episode 6, the season 2 finale. This video is going to be a little bit different to the previous 5 that I've done of this save. Be sure to let me know how you feel about it in the comments down below. It's time for a quick recap of what's happened whilst we've been away, and then we'll get straight into the final game of the season versus the mighty HJK, or as they say here, Hoyokor.
So, last video saw us in the Suomen Cup final, our first of 2 chances to get into European football. Even if it is via the early qualification routes, we lost. This made us a little shaky over the next couple of games, having 0-0 draws and searching for a goal. Next up was maybe the strongest team in the league, HJK. Our goal scoring had returned in a dramatic way and we ran off with a dominant 4-1 win to go top of the league. Top of the table last episode, still standing strong going into the final game of the regular season. Over the course of the season we've absolutely dominated the league and not failed to score in any game since the last time we played HJK. To my surprise, this season turned out to be a masterclass from us, to say we was only just promoted. Some of the standout games since last episode has been FC Honka, who we were trailing to 1-0 and came back 4-1 winners. Nistan, who have been a constant thorn in our side since Ukkonen, always seeming to get a result against us. Of course, the 1-0 win against fierce rivals into Turku was a game in which Derek Asede picked the game up by the scruff of the neck to make sure we don't let our fans down. We had to say our goodbyes to Simon Kalina, whose contract was expiring this season and we wasn't going to be renewing it. He moved to Varberg Boys for 30,000, which was quite lucky really on our side, as he only had a couple of months left and we was ready to lose him for nothing. With one out and relatively a thin squad this season, we needed to have an instant replacement, which Matti Lund Nielsen was able to do for us, looking to serve us as a senior character in the dressing room for a year or so and to be able to cover Macichak whenever needed. Aimed for €550 a week, but no, my luck, if I didn't pay that and we didn't have the backup, then Macichak would probably get injured for the rest of the season and we'd be kind of screwed. Talking of Eric, he's been our standout player for this season, pulling the strings as we desired. Best player of the team right now, pulling the highest average rating with a high amount of games being played. Chipped in with 3 league goals, but getting his job done really with the 8 assists and 36 clear-cut chances, always making sure he's finding someone every game. We did have a couple of teams sniffing around him, and thankfully they disappeared. If someone came in for him though, he'd give us a great amount of money, which I'm showing you now, to steady the ship. I know it would happen sooner rather than later, but I'm loving him right now and I really don't want him to go. Someone who I think will be leaving very soon is Stojkovic, another player this season who's been really key for us. Having a decent amount of goal contributions and split both goals and assists, a nice little balance, one of the first names on the team sheet on that left wing. Again, some decent money if he was to move on, which at our stage in the save it would be a lot of money for us, but let's see if any offers actually come in. On to some of the youngsters now, and Hoxha is our main left back and will continue to do so, one of our brightest prospects of the first youth intake that we had. Once he hits 17, his pro contract will be at €50, which is a steal really, but I do think he'll want some more money sooner rather than later, as he is a big key player for us. If anyone comes knocking, we need his price ultimately to be as high as possible, which is why another contract may be coming over the horizon. As you can see, he's still making some great strides in his development, in such a short time too, making him even more exciting. Next up is one of our main characters for this save so far, which is Pajola, a position I may search for additional firepower for next season to help us in Europe, providing competition and maybe even becoming a good tutor for him. He's done a great job this season. He's got 10 goals, which isn't an awful lot as a striker, but it shows our goals have been dished around the team, and he did miss some games due to injury. But like Hoxha, he's developing nicely despite having that extra season over him. As I said, he does his job well when called upon. Pohjalainen may come under some threat next season as I think about new tactics which would just keep the save fresh and just experiment really. In comparison to his teammates, his 6.93 average rating isn't as hot, but I like the kid. He does the job when you need him to, but like I said, I'm unsure if he's going to be a starter or not next season for us. Development wise, his mentals are flourishing very well at his age, and was a weaker point at the start of the save, so it's great to see the improvement. One youth prospect that I don't really like so much at the moment is Chris Horton. He came in at the same time as Hoxha, but despite his potential, he's quite injury prone and doesn't seem to be really training that well. He has a bit of an attitude problem, which is down to his personality. I think the ideal situation here is someone comes and tries to buy him quick, or potentially I find an older player in a similar position as like a ball-winning midfielder who's got great determination and the right personality to try and transform him. And at a quick glance here, just to show how he's developing over this season, like I say, it's his first season with us, but it's been very poor really, especially if you compare to Hoxha. Even though he's had much more games and Horton's been injured, it's just not really showing that much of an improvement. It's a big difference between the two. So now you're all caught up and back at current times.
Here's a reflection of how well Hox is actually doing. He's been called up by the Finnish under-21s at the age of 16, which, despite Finland not being the strongest national team out there, still playing at an age group 5 years older than he actually is. It's a pretty big achievement and shows just how well he's doing.
Despite our dominant run this year, I'd still expect the media to back HJK, but it seems like they have us with the better odds. We'll take that all day long.
So the final game of the season, of the regular season, is among us. And to be fair, we've got such a fat goal difference here. That is just incredible to say we've been promoted and this is the first season back in the top division. We have 8 points on HJK. That could go to 11 points. Depending on what Turku do, if they don't get a win here, all I'm going to say is it seems very, very likely we're going to finish at the top of the league by the end of the Champions playoff group, and we'll have an easier path, I believe, into Europe, which is obviously the main goal here. We're not going to do anything silly with this squad. We're going to pretty much keep the same squad that we've had for most of the season. The only difference really is that Sundman will be in right back because Hyvärinen did get injured in the last game, or at some point between the last game, which is unfortunate. So he's going to be out for another week or two, I believe. And we don't have Kinnunen fully back yet. He's got like 3 days left until he's back in action. What a team talk. Everyone is motivated. Everyone's up for the fight, and that's exactly what we want in this club. Fighting spirit. Look at this, toying around with the striker. Playing out the back, exactly what we want to see. It's embarrassing for them. Look at them just parking up. Fluid football, Pajala. Again, more fluid football. We've just not messed about. But we do need to finish our chances. I want to put this game to bed very early. And we can keep a track here of what Inter do. Inter are actually losing. We could have a fat lead. We could almost be at the top of the group without playing a game here. Poor possessional play from them. Stojkovic. Showing you why he's wanted. Lethal. It's Pajala. And this has got to be the game done and dusted. There's absolutely no chance of coming back. This is an insane lead to take into the Champions Group, which I think is like 5 games, so 15 points, and we have 11 of them already to be at the top. So we need like 1 win, or maybe results go our way. We probably already win the group just in 1 game. 2 at a push, as long as we win them both. HJK have just been absolutely manhandled by us in both games that we've played. Just domination of possession, shots, goals. Like, they've scored 1 goal in like 2 or 3 games against us. It's diabolical from them. With the regular season finished, it's time to go into the Champions Group of the Vikasliga. I think we're like 2 good results here from claiming the Vikasliga. First time of asking. The first time in I think 48 years. Yeah, there it is. 48-year wait if we can get the next 2 games done. Wrap it up 3 games early. This is what our schedule looks like for the final 5 games. We have Mariehamn, who are our next game. And by this point, the Vikasliga will be ours. We'll have some silverware. It's going to be electric. However, it would be fantastic if we was held here and we managed to win the league against our big rivals over here. That would be insane. Worst case scenario, I think we have to just win these 3 and then we can lose the rest. It doesn't matter. We'll play the kids. At that point, we're into Europe. As always, pretty much the same squad going in. Hyvärinen now back. He's not fully fit yet. I think we might put him on the bench just to get some minutes in the second half, just to get him up to speed. Poxa is kind of needing a rest, so maybe after this game we can probably just put Sundman over there. Come on, game 1 of 2 that we really need to get a good result in. I mean, we have 5 chances here, but it would be nice to round it off. Nice one, Sundman. Derek's actually got a couple of people looking after him. We've got a penalty to start with. I can't remember who takes these. I think it's Pajala. Or is it Maticek? It's Maticek. Get in! Big Eric. Big corner. Maticek. That's an assist. He's going for the record. Big Derek's on there. He started to really get involved with some goals in the past like 5 games or so, to say he's a ball-winning midfielder. 45 minutes gone. Another 45 minutes to go. And I think you're doing brilliant. Keep it up. Everyone's inspired and motivated. That should see out the game, surely, just from that team talk. Another corner. Is that another assist? Never mind. Don't do it again, Derek. You know, I do like the fact that we're keeping the possession. Because I don't even think, if I remember rightly, it's not even something we're necessarily focused on in terms of our tactic itself. But the fact that it's happened, it's just a bonus, really. Right, time to bring on some of the nippers and people wanting to regain match fitness. Who else shall we bring on? Let's take off Pylo because apparently he's hampered by injury, which I didn't even notice. Wasn't even told. What a great assistant manager I have. It's been a pretty quiet second half, but I mean, I'll take that. That's no problem for me.
What a goal! Look at that cartwheel.
Look at the cartwheel. Don't do it to him. Don't give him a fourth. We can't do him like that. We have had a lot of 4-0 wins this season. Or 4-goal thrillers. From our side at least. Oh! Rattles the crossbar. And that's got to be the end. 1 down, 1 to go. Time for Hacker, and we are 1 win away from the first Vikers League of the series. Simo Roy is going to have to come in for Pyla. We will play Huverinen back in for Sunman. We may need to rest Hoxer. Yeah, I think we will. We rest Hoxer. Sunman can play. In fact, Kinnunen can play because he's not played at all. Is it wrong that I want to play Huttala? I kind of want to give him some game time early doors. He's already worth 100k, which is quite big for this team. I think we're going to play him. We're going to play him first game. Why not? Get him integrated early. Rantanen can get a start. Ahanak can also get in there. And you know what? We will keep on. In fact, no, we're going to bring Horton also. It's a very heavily rotated squad, but it's what you need. You need to give everyone some game time. Potentially the last game we step out onto the pitch without a Vikers Liga title. You know what? I like that calmness in defence. Patted it down, passed it out. We've actually not had any highlights ourselves, which is kind of concerning 30 minutes in to say we've stormed this league. I mean, that was woeful from them. Half time in this has actually been woeful. We're not going to win if we don't shoot, boys. Come on, get it done. We're going to have to bring on some big super subs soon. That's it. I'm going to have to pull the plug. You know what? We're going to give Nielsen a run out for Matchak. Going to get a Sadie in there because I think Horton could be a trap. And we will bring on Pyla for Royha. If this doesn't get me goals, I don't know what to do. Let's push it to attacking. Let's see if we can do a bit of a snatch and grab. Tiki-taka, tiki-taka. Rantanen. Derek. Derek, what a super sub. One hand on the title. Come on. Come on. Come on! What a super sub Sadie was. Maybe I have to keep him next season now because he seems to be a clutch player. Nobody else could do the job, but he had to step up with 30 minutes left. Came on, did his bit, and scored a goal. Ooh. Ooh. There we go, done and dusted. Kippers and custard. Let's get to the dressing room. Champions, time to celebrate, boys. I can't believe we've done it. First season, we've got the league. Don't get me wrong, I didn't think it'd be the hardest league to get top 3, 4. But we did it first time of asking and absolutely battered everyone on the way. To be fair, we had a woeful like 60 minutes and somehow we managed to overturn almost everything. Like, what a joke. Funny for Huttala as well, that's his debut. Clean sheet, and he won the title. What a debut. You couldn't ask for much more, really. HJK now are no longer running away with it. We've stopped their domination. Yeah, I agree with you, Johnny boy. It wasn't lucky, it was hard work, dedication, and ability. All us. Absolutely no other reason why. I actually forgot to mention the youth intake that we had. Another top rated intake, but we kind of expect that at the moment because the first handful of intakes will pretty much be because the squad has a higher room for development. The pick of the bunch is Janne Huhtala, who you saw in the previous game. He's around the first team level and not too far off from being in the starting lineup. Like the previous intake, personalities seem to be an issue, and Huhtala is unambitious. Hopefully having Kinnunen as a mentor can improve his determination and help tweak his personality. Aside from that, he looks a very exciting player. Next is Julius Kankala, who is also an unambitious player. However, he does have some very decent mentals for his age and some great teamwork, something that I value personally. His first touch and technique are also solid, and his passing should easily develop with a little bit of time. Rauno Alvinen is our next guy. Doesn't look anything too special right now, but could have some potential. Pretty balanced stats to start with. Our final pick is Odalis Moyaka, who surprisingly has a pretty good personality, being fairly professional. He's a centre-back with some pretty okay physicals, if we excuse the strength. Not as good as Huhtala, but could be someone who develops further in the future. Just for good measure, I will also show the Turku game because it is our big rival. Both Matichak and Pohjalainen did get injured for like 6 to 9 days or something like that, so it means that we can have a little bit of rotation, which is not a massive problem for us really. Asadi can start in there for Horton, who, like I said, I think he's going to be sort of pushed further and further out as time progresses. Pajala back in the starting 11. Ayan Pera can play the last few games. In fact, scratch that, Lund Nielsen isn't going to play. Rauvo Alvinen is going to make a debut for us. And finally, Hoxa is going to come back into the starting lineup. For this game, we do have 3 of our youngsters playing, Alvinen, Huhtala and Ohiampera. Hopefully we can get a result here despite having a heavily rotated team. I think it's super interesting the fact that they've not really come out of their half in terms of average positions, whereas we're like 6 players deep into theirs. And this is actually genuinely the first highlight that we've had all game in 37 minutes. They was just whizzing it around us like we wasn't even there. Off the bar. What on earth is that for a clearance? Big save. We've actually not had any positive highlights yet for us in 60 minutes. We conceded. I mean, to be fair, if we do lose this game, I'll take the loss. I'd rather have the Vikings-Liga, which we've got. Ahanak, second goal of the season. Is that back-to-back free kicks that we've had? I mean, 2 different people, but back-to-back free kick goals. We're going to bring Hoxa off for a bit of a rest for Kinnunen, and we are going to bring Ahanak off for Horton, but what we're going to do is switch Asade for Horton because it kind of fits a little better there, at least in terms of familiarity with the position. I'd be content drawing this game 1-1, so hopefully we don't concede. If anything, hopefully we can get a nice little counter-attack going. Good save. You know what? I'll take the draw. That's fine. We got the Vikings-Liga, so we're still 1 up on Turku really. And with that, it brings a close to the second season. It feels very satisfying to actually get the Vikings-Liga this early on into the save, and we're now finally in Europe. I really hope you enjoyed the new style of video. Be sure to subscribe to keep up with the new content that's going to be upcoming, especially with the new Football Manager just around the corner. Drop a like, have a great day, and I'm out.